As we do every week, I want to talk about the race horses, and I'll start with them and see how we're getting along. We are adding horses daily, putting horses on the market, on the board, taking horses off. We had sold some horses the other day, and we'll continue to do that as the fall goes on. We want to make sure that we have a pretty strong front line. That will take some purchase of probably some nice horses, some high-end horses also, but those middle-of-the-roaders are really the ones that week in and week out get the job done, and we need to obviously always cycle them in and out as they get to that, that saturation point. Move them out, bring another one back in. It's worked really well for us over the last 2 years, and I believe it will continue to. All gas, no brakes, perfect example. Here's a horse that we had picked up. Now, he didn't really fit a condition, but a horse that I thought would do us some good. He's got 2 wins, a second, and a one poor race. Was a little bit flat the 1 week, but has raced very, very well since we got him. As I said, 2 wins and a second so far. So keep things going with him. He's different in the sense that he does fit races in Ontario, and I believe and hope that he can slide into that 3 and 4 year old 50 claimer, or even the 35 that Kemp was in when we lost him. But you have to be good enough. And I hope. It's hard to tell. I thought he was, then I thought he wasn't. The other night, he was a little indecisive. Is that horse good enough or not good enough? Kind of looked like he was, but we'll see. We'll see. But nevertheless, he's going to be a useful horse for us. Atlas Hanover continues to race good. I haven't seen any dominant performances, but flashes of the horse we want. He kind of get roughed up when Lauren drove him, but that happens. And then last week, he got pinned in behind a horse that looked like the horse to follow, but back through them. And Atlas got out. He loves climbing all over horses and getting out and sprinting. And, they've done a great job. Brett's done a great job on the racetrack with him. Stacy's done a great job with him. So hopefully he can fit in. But again, there's a horse where if we can't find a consistent class where he can get to somewhere and race and stay racing there, again, he's a horse too that we may move at some point. Now, don't take that as you're going to see him online in the next week. No, you might see him online in December, but not anytime soon. Divine Zeddy. I haven't got a. First off, I got to figure out how to say her last name properly. I don't know if it's Zed or Zeddy. I think it's Zed. I'd like to see her do some good things now. Lauren did get her qualified. She is in to go. She looks like she might be in a tough place on paper. If I don't like what I see from her, we'll just bring her back and put her in the condition claimer at the Meadows or in Ohio, in Northfield, one or the other. But we'll see how she looks this week, and then we'll move on from there. Greatest ending. Somebody said, why isn't he back in to go? Well, you can't ask him to race Saturday, back Thursday. Class in Plainridge goes on Thursday, so he'll race next Thursday. And if we give him on a 10-day schedule just to start him back into his rotation, it's probably a better thing for him. So you'll see him next Thursday. HL Blue is entered in the sale. I haven't been dragging my feet, but I feel like I have. I've told you I wanted to sell him as a roadster horse. I had a couple of people look at him. They kind of lowballed us. It's almost like the Amish have this little mafia, right? And what happens is they all get together and say, no more buying horses for a lot of money. I want to lowball all the normal people. We're not paying a lot for them. So then you go and they're like, horse prices are way down right now. Way down. I see. Yeah, so I give you X, which is like 20 cents on the dollar. I think these guys are tough. So I said, hard no. I'm just going to take HL Blue and put him in the sale. Now that I say it out loud, I guess I should probably qualify this horse again before the sale in case the people that were looking at him to buy him as a racehorse are concerned. I just didn't think that he was a horse that we were going to race. So I guess we'll race HL Blue once or qualify him again before the sale in Ohio. And I have no idea what he's going to bring. If there's a bunch of... Generally, the one certainty is that you're going to see a lot of straw hats there. And if you see a lot of straw hats there, HL Blue is going to be an interesting proposition to them. As far as a racehorse, worth a lot less. But I'm just surprised that a stud that does have some decent pedigree, this is a stud out of a sister to Wishing Stone, he had a good 2-year-old season, but just fell apart after that, and we weren't able to patch him back up and get him back moving. He just seemed a little slow to me. But we'll see. So he is in the sale. I entered 5 horses in the sale. 5 horses are in the sale. I better do a video explaining which 5 are in the sale. I will do that at the end of your videos today. How the Hell, also in the sale. I can't protect him forever. I mean, I love the horse to death. I love his his work ethic. I know he's made a lot of breaks, but a number of them have been explainable. Some of them haven't. I would like to see him put together a consistent schedule straight through to the Ohio sale. We'll see how that plays out. I Forbid You was sold this week. I just can't keep chasing. I refuse to go on the track at 20-1 with any horse anymore. Of ours, it's not going to happen. So if they end up catching a tough stake or a tough condition race that we couldn't foresee happening, fine. But when we enter a horse in a class that she should be able to do in, and you go on the track, even from the 8-hole at 20, 30-1, that's not going to fly. We had somebody offer us some money for her, and although I thought it was a rather low price for I Forbid You, I just can't continue to go on the track at long odds with her, so we sold her. J.K. Mickey Mantle, I see him coming back around. It wasn't an inspiring mile the other day, but it was good. 52 and a piece. I just need to see him do more. I think that third quarter, he kind of dogs it a little bit, and being out in the flow is not where he wants to be. I think you got to stay left in the third quarter, fish him out, or if the pace is a little slower and you can keep him bottled up on a helmet, then fine. But it was a little hotter the other day. The third quarter was a little stiff, and they paced away from him, and it kind of took all the wind out of his sails. He come on a bit down the lane, but I'd like to see him attacking, and I just haven't seen it. So I know a lot of people heard me talk about the top of this order. Instead of you going to sell him, we have options with him. We can put him in a condition claimer. He's only got 5 wins. He go for 20 or 30,000. We have options with this guy right now. But for right now, I'd just like to see him get going. That win in 51 was cool. I thought he looked really, really good, but he just didn't. Now, he was way up in class the other day, so it's hard to transfer what you saw when Mike drove him to what I saw, and that's not making excuses for me. I thought the horse raced good. I put him in a good spot, but I just would like to see a little bit more from J.K. Mickey Mantle. J.K. Victory has had great, somebody pointed out he has never missed a check for us in Indiana, ever. I didn't know that. I kind of think I did know that, but never really registered. And then hearing Burke talk about him and saying when Ronnie said, no, I don't think you should sell him. I think you should send him to the Meadowlands with me, rest him, bring him back, and we'll have him razor sharp for Indiana next year. I think as a 5-year-old, he'll be a killer. That was almost his synopsis verbatim about J.K. Victory. Looks like money is healed up good. He's jogging back now and looking good. As far as a timeline, I haven't talked to Harry about a specific timeline because I don't think it's fair to put one on him. You're going to be able to train him, then reevaluate his leg, and then train him again, reevaluate his leg. But it looks like we're on the right track with this guy. Everything looks like it's healed up well. Renegade Gypsy. I know there's going to be a lot of people with bated breath listening to this. I put him in the sale also. In Ohio, just hasn't been the 4-year-old that we wanted, or he hasn't been the aged horse that we wanted. He didn't come out swinging. Now, he's not the only one. Resolute Bay's got a lot to prove when we bring him back. But I just thought that given the fact of how strong Renegade Gypsy finished off his 3-year-old year and the time we gave him off, I thought he'd come back good, and he did not come back good at all. And he's had flashes. The other day somebody said, well, he came from 10th. Okay, I got a question. Why did he get away 10th? I don't know. This is a horse that used to be able to leave at will and get spotted and suited well. He just hasn't had a tremendous 2023, and quite frankly, I'm not going to continue to race him when I know he can't get up into the top level. So we're going to race him up till he gets beat up, and then wait until he gets beat up a few times and wait till he drops back down. I'm just not going to do that with Renegade Gypsy. He's a big, beautiful black horse going to a sale full of Amish people that race horses and own horses, and at the end of the day, I have very little issue with selling him, and I don't have a problem with Renegade Gypsy. Yeah, he annoyed me a little bit at 3. I thought he was a little cowardly at times, but finished off his year very strong and changed my opinion of him also. And it's not that I'm saying, he's got to go because he's terrible. That's not it. He's just not playing the role I need him to play right now. So he is in the sale in Ohio in November. Resolute Bay, again, I'm going to need to see more from him. Yes, we gave him time off. We brought him back. It was pretty clear that he had some soreness issues that had lingered and carried on to him into his 4-year-old season. Harry had asked, we gave him some time off. We gave him time off. He should be, I suspect. Now, Harry, when I called the barn on Friday, was down at the track schooling. I can only think of 2 horses he has that are close to schooling. Locatelli and Resolute Bay. So I haven't caught up with Harry yet, but I would bet very, very good money that both Resolute Bay and Locatelli were at Mohawk schooling on Friday, if I was to wager. Where are we at here? A Serious Dragon, a little bit of stall rest. This guy found a little line in his pasture. I don't know how long he's been racing with that line in there. He is one tough little bugger, and I suspect, here's the thing about horse racing. Don't expect him to come back and be exponentially better because he's now sounder. In your head, it makes sense. fix the mistakes, fix the issues, the horse will get better. Doesn't always work that way for some reason. Serious Dragon, 4 to 6 weeks in the stall. We might even bring him over here and put him in the Aqua treadmill and get him ready to go over here. That will depend on Harry's vacancy, how many he has there. Obviously, Cintra will be leaving as he's going to be retired. And there's a couple other horses there that'll be on the shelf. No Free Lunch is coming to Ohio to be rehabbed and raced over here. So I don't know who is active in Harry's barn. We do have some horses coming back also that can go there. But for now, Serious Dragon is in stall rest mode, and he'll be there for another few weeks, I think. 3 Point Blue Chip, the plan was to get him into full training in the Miller stable right after Harrisburg. I spoke to Tom about that. He was pretty adamant that he was ready to go back, but Andy and Julie just thought with the chaos surrounding the sales, they would like to focus on him after the Harrisburg sale. So that's exactly the plan with him. Unbeatable Kemp is now back with us. Raced okay the other night, but it was a good launching point, I think, for him. Yes, we had him checked over. His knees are still bad. They're going to continue to be bad, but they're manageable, and we can work with him on them. And I was very happy with what I saw from Unbeatable Kemp throughout the summer before we lost him. Obviously, he fell apart a little bit when he had left the stable, and now that he has returned to the stable, does he have... The good news is he doesn't have to regain the form that he had before we lost him. If he can do in that optional 12 up into the 15, I'm perfectly happy with that. He's a useful horse for now, and I was happy with his race the other day. I thought he raced rather well. Yo Mister raced good again the other day. Just picked off for second. He drops down in class now. I think he'll be fine. I guess at some point he may need a little bit of a rest also as we head into the winter. I don't know. I'll leave that up to Stacy and Brett. Good as him is training now and looking good in Ontario. We'll see how that plays out throughout the rest of the fall. Locatelli, as I said, haven't talked to Harry yet, but I do know he was at the track schooling, and there's only 2 horses I know of Harry's that would be up to that speed, that would be in that time frame, and I think that would be Resolute Bay and Locatelli. No Free Lunch is heading back over to Ohio. Just injured his tendon a little bit. The bugger, he's just a bad luck horse. Injured his tendon a little bit, but it's nothing we can't fix up and work with, especially given the good results we had from the medication that we put in. Looks like Money's suspensory. It healed up perfectly. That hole is healed in great, and that's what we want to see with Lunch. The time frame on racing him will be up to him, will be up to the vet, but I thought it would make more sense to leave him over here under the vet supervision and under Stacy's supervision, because we do have a place to race him right here in Dayton in Miami Valley. He's already raced here and get over the track well, so I don't see why we wouldn't again. So No Free Lunch is here. He's going to stay here and race. He's not here yet. He'll be here early this week. He's going to stay here and race throughout the winter, I believe. Think of Galaxy's races tonight. A little flat her last couple, but truthfully, I'd like to take her off the gate, and I think the way she behaved last week, I'll be able to. Just take her off the gate and race her from off the pace, and I think we can do that this week. Oakwood Cowboy is going to get another couple of weeks out in the field, and then we'll bring him back in, start going with him, try to get him geared up for the winter racing schedule. Stay Close continues to race good. Drew the inside post this week. I thought he raced well the other day, but he should race even better this week. I think he's in a good spot. We'll see mentally what kind of spot Stay Close is in, because he's in a race that he should do good. He drew the middle of the gate. Last time he drew the middle of the gate, he ripped their heads off. So we'll see how he does this week, but I wasn't disappointed with him the other day. Kings County. So here's the thing with Kings County. The outside of his tendon blew up a little bit. There's a canal there called the carpal canal, and Dr. Carter injected it and said, I can't really find anything under ultrasound or under x-ray, can't really find anything, so we'll inject it and see how it responds. Well, it did blow up a bit, and he was a little bit tender on it. If he was a normal horse, I'd be like, he'll be all right, just, cold hose it, poultice it, and race him. The problem I had is that I know when he was young, he had an injury on both his front legs, right? Suspensory injury on both his front legs. They're rehabbed properly, but we don't want to poke the bear. We don't want either of those injuries flaring back up. So I wanted to get him looked at. We brought him up. Dr. Latessa had the same look at him that Dr. Carter did, and decided that undiagnosed. I don't know what caused it. I don't know why it's continuing to fill up. Yes, we can inject it. Would you like it looked at closer, because we have a horse going over to Brown Clinic? A little more, some additional diagnostic tools available at Brown Clinic that you may not find in Ohio, either with Dr. Carter or Dr. Latessa. So I agreed to it. We sent Kings County there. Same thing. Dr. Brown had said, can't find anything under ultrasound or x-ray. It's hard to tell why that would blow up. It's not big. It comes down, it goes up. But there's obviously something going on. What we can do, if you want, is we can put a scope in that canal. I can tell you what's going on. Is there a little tear in there? Is it just irritation? I said, yeah, do what's best for the horse. This is a nice horse. He's only 7. I think he still has lots of racing left in him. He's been a great horse for us. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out exactly what is going on. Put the scope in. He found a spur in there. Now, there's a long word. I Googled it. Actually, Mike sent me the Google thing of it. At least 70% of the words in that paragraph I had no idea and couldn't pronounce half of them. But a very rare condition where a spur does get in that canal and can irritate. And what else is in there is a deep digital flexor tendon. You don't want to screw around with that. So there was no damage done to anything in there, but he did take the spur out and cleaned everything up in there. So it was a procedure. He said it's going to be about between time off to let the sutures heal and everything heal, time off to rehab that quickly. He'll be back 6 to 8 weeks. And I said, well, why don't we just take the time to give him a short rest and then focus on him for the remainder of the winter. If he is back in 2 months, right? He's back at Christmas time. If he's back at Christmas time, we have the remainder of December, January, February, March, April. Lots of racing for that guy at that point. So that timeline is perfectly fine with me. So Kings County, very, very happy that we went ahead and did that. It appears that we went down the right road for sure. I can't imagine there would have been a very good outcome from having a spur in that canal, irritating that area while we were trying to race him. And then I have to think back of all the times he made those weird breaks, right? Why did he make a break in the first turn? Brett didn't do anything wrong. The horse is sound. Stacy has him ready, and he makes that silly break somewhere. I couldn't understand why he did it. Who knows how long that's been irritating him a little bit, right? I don't know. So glad to have it fixed up, and he'll be back in action in, as I said, 6 to 8 weeks. But we can rest him at this time. As he's healing, he can rest. Put a little bit of weight back on him. Work on all the other issues that bother him. We saw this with Stay Close. He did that time off for that eye. Then we come back and bang, we got him over to Pennsylvania. He made like 40 grand in a month and a half. Just raced great, run the gauntlet on everybody, and is still racing good. So again, although this isn't what we want to hear, it actually is exactly what I want to hear. I want to know what could have been bothering him. I want to know what it was, how we fixed it, what the rehab looks like, and when he'll be back. So I'm actually very, very happy that Kings County went to Dr. Brown's clinic. White Tiger has been racing great. No, he didn't get in this week. As I said to somebody, you only race 30 times a year max, this guy. And he's at like 20-some right now. So I would rather miss a week than have to race against Logan Park. Let him stay and race in the Breeders' Crown Final. Surely they can fill some sort of a trot race that looks like a preferred or an open. And without Logan Park and those sorts in there, it's a good spot for White Tiger. So hopefully that fills this week. Why would you do that? So I think that's the scoop with White Tiger. Okay, no, I need it by age. There we go. Delicious Stone DK. Chris Lem said he was trotting very good. He said, if anything, I think the hobbles were too tight. I said, I've actually wanted to take them off him now for a couple of weeks. We may enter this guy and just take the hobbles off of him heading into next week's race. I really like what I've seen with Delicious Stone DK, and being bottled up like that, he's going to eventually, we've seen this with James, bottle. I got bottled up with him. Now Chris Lem's got bottled up with him. Probably looking at some sort of an explosive mile coming up from him because he has it. He has the tools to do it, and he's a nice horse. Patrick the Piranha was great the other day. That guy just got the jump on me. I had talked about in the video pretty extensively about how I wanted the race to go, how I didn't want it to go. That's exactly how I wanted the race to go for us. I just didn't think that Mike's horse would have been as flat as he was on the front end. He just didn't have a great week, and because he didn't working on a mystery, blew by us coming out of the turn, and then we had to drop down to the passing lane. I'm not going to outsprint a world champion like that to the wire. But had the race gone our way, I think, if working on a mystery's half a length off the leader at that lane, and we got a clear run at him from the head of lane to the wire, I think we beat him. But that just didn't happen. Patrick the Piranha raced very, very good. Perlucky continues to race good. I believe he races tonight in Illinois, so good luck to everybody there. And Sintra, of course, all of you know that Sintra has been retired. We'll have a ceremony for him coming up in the near future. So those are your racehorses. I'm going to get your 3-year-olds and your 2-year-olds. We talked extensively about a number of yearlings at the start of the video, but I'll be back in just a minute with your 3-year-olds, your 2-year-olds. Talk about the horses we put in the sale next month in Ohio.